Guys, it's Card Zen by Jen. Thanks again for joining me for another Manic Monday. My name is Jennifer Blaszak. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in West Decatur, Pennsylvania, about northwest central Pennsylvania. And today I am showing you just a very super easy technique. This is just using up strips of paper. If you have leftover pieces of paper on your craft table, you are definitely going to want to use this. These are so quick, so easy. You can do this with any color. You can do this with any pattern paper. What I did was I chose coordinating colors. So I did blues and grays for my pattern paper. So if you pick out like 2 or 3 different colors and just pick pattern paper that all share those same colors, you are going to be golden. So I am a scrapbooker at heart, and as we know, scrapbookers make the best hoarders. We don't throw anything away, and you may be able to convert us into card makers, but you can't take the hoarder part out of us from being scrapbookers in the past. So let me show you how quick and easy it is to make this card. I literally am using scraps that were on my desk. Again, I picked the blues and the grays, and all of my scraps are a 1/2 inch wide, and then they range from 1.5 to 1 3/4 inches tall. So I have like 4 blues, 4 grays. Oops, is that right? Yeah, that's right. 4 blues and 4 grays. And then I have one piece that's a little bit wider. It's about 3/4. You can make this piece 1 inch wide if you want. And it's about 2 inches in length. And that's going to be our piece in the center. We are using just a Night of Navy card base. My words are just not coming to me today. I apologize. Brain fog is a serious thing these days. But this is just 8.5 by 5.5, and we are scored in the middle. So this is going to be our card base. We're doing landscape today. Whatever color you use for your mat for this piece here, just depends upon what colors you're using in your pattern paper. I chose to use Petal Pink. I wanted to kind of, I really like Petal Pink and Night of Navy together. So I thought that it went great with the grays as well. So that's why I chose the Petal Pink. You can choose any color that you would like. And how we start putting this card together is super easy. Don't laugh, it really is easy. We are going to take a tape runner, and we are literally going to do one swipe right across. Oops, it doesn't have to be perfect. We're doing a swipe right across the middle of the paper. And if you get any on your desk, just roll that right off of there. All right, I'm gonna try not to get my head in here as I start to put this together. So we're starting with our 1/2 inch pieces, and we are just going to put these one right after the other, and we're kind of just, up and down. We don't want them straight across. We want them up and down. So however you feel like doing that, to your heart's content, you can do that. And again, we're just putting them along, up and down. Not perfect. Not perfect. Now that I did the 4 from this side, I'm going to come across over to the left side, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to, this one I might start up. Let me see. And then let's do this way. Oops, let's go with a more gray piece. Most of these pattern pieces came from the Country Lace papers that are on Last Chance right now. I think they're $12.50. They might be less than that now that they're on Last Chance. One came from, I think this one came from Adventurous Sky, and a couple came from the Countryside Inn. But again, use whatever you have on your desk. Do not think that you have to cut anything extra. Just use whatever you have. Now that I have 4 coming in, now you can see that this is kind of uneven right here. So we are going to use our bigger piece, and it's going to hide this edge and this edge. and you just won't see a darn thing. Oops. Helps to stick it down, Jennifer, helps to stick it down. There we go. All right, so now that we have that, let's go ahead and put this onto our card front. How easy is that? Again, one stripe across the middle and just start adhering it. There's no right or wrong. Don't overthink it. Just stick it on there. Get that centered. We'll put that on. Now for the sentiment, I wanted something that would flow the whole way across that. So I'm using the Sweetly Scripted. If you don't have the Sweetly Scripted, this is, oh goodness, this is retired. If you don't have that, if you have anything else that just is very flowy, that can take up some space coming across, do it. I took a piece of basic white. This is 3/4 of an inch tall by 4 3/4 wide. Again, all of the measurements will be found on the blog. Everything will be written out there for you so that you know what you're using. And kind of got that a little messy on the bottom there, didn't I? I'm going to use one of my bigger blocks, and I'm actually going to turn it this way when I use it. I already do have some happy birthdays, and I need to get well. So I'm going to use the Speedy Recovery for this. And I'm going to do this, make sure you can see this. I'm going to do this kind of sideways so that I can fit the most on there and have the most control over it. And I guess I should have gotten out my Night of Navy ink. Let's pull that out of here. Set this aside so that I do not make a mess. I am notorious. It will happen. I will drop my stamp right onto my card front. It happens. And you know what happens when that happens? We simply say, it's just paper, and we move on. I'm not happy with this piece though. I am pulling out another piece. I just don't like that one. Let's see. Give me a second. Sometimes it just has to be perfect, and it's not perfect, and I don't like it when it's not perfect. Okay, I think I like this piece better. That other one looked strange to me for some reason. All right, so I'm going to very carefully do this so that I can get this in the middle as much as possible without getting my head in your face. I apologize. And I don't like that. So again, I got some halo on there, and it was because I was not straight up and down. So let's try this again. And go back to this other piece. Going back to the other piece. Sorry, sometimes things are perfect and sometimes things are not perfect. And if they're not perfect, we'll just simply fix them. Okay, ready with that. This time I'm going to stand up and do this so that I can see it. There, that's better. And let's add some dimensionals onto the back of that. Ooh, almost to the bottom of this one. Once you get to the edge of your dimensionals, for example, so this was a sheet of dimensionals, and I've got one full one left here, but when you get to the edge of these, you can still use these pieces. And you can use them as full pieces, or you can just simply snip them and use those. Please don't throw them away. And if you really feel like you must throw them away, stick them in an envelope and send them to me. I'll take them. There we go. Let's do another one in the middle. And I love it when I get to the end of a piece of the dimensionals. I do not know why that makes me so happy, but it makes me so happy, and then I can throw it away and it just is awesome. All right, I'm going to use an older petal pink ribbon, and the reason I'm using this is because it's nice and thin. All of my current stuff right now is really like about a 1/2 inch thick. And I have a hard time with bows on that. So I'm just gonna do something a little bit smaller. And so I'm pulling out this Old Petal Pink. If you have, this would be a really good one if you've got like a linen thread or any other thread that works, that you can use for this would be perfect. Or if you want to use one of the wider ones, go for it. I just felt like it was just too wide there. Okay, now I'm going to do something else on this. I'm going to make it appear as though this is wrapped around. I'm going to make it appear as though it's wrapped around and then tied in a bow. But if you've ever wrapped anything around, a piece of paper and then try to tie it in a bow and make it look perfect, you know how hard it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a glue dot to the back, right about where I want it to be. And I'm going to start here, press my ribbon in. I'm going to come around and press that in and snip. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Now, let's go ahead and adhere this to our card front now that we've taken care of that. Pull off your dimensional backings. Apply, you're just going to apply it straight across the front. Okay. And then on your bow, you are going to take another one of your glue dots. Am I out of them there? Oh, nope, I had another one. Thought I did. Take the middle of your bow, push it right into your glue dot. Trick of the trade. Now the glue dot's on the back of the bow, and all you're going to do is push it down. How easy is that? Makes it look as though it's wrapped around, but it's not. And then you can trim your pieces a little bit more if you would like. And there you have it. It's that easy. So again, this makes a great technique for using up all of those scraps that are just hanging out on your desk, but you just don't have the heart like me to throw them away. Every once in a while I get a little overwhelmed, and yes, they do go into the trash, but I try to hold on to them and do something with them. Waste not, want not. And times are hard every once in a while, so it's best to make all of our resources last as long as possible. There you go. I hope you enjoyed that today, and I would love to see what you've tried with the scraps on your desk. If you come over to my Facebook group, it is Stampin' with Card Zen by Jen, and post what you've done. I'd love to see it. Until next time, happy stamping.